Hello and welcome to my review of the LEGO City 60374 Fire Command Truck. This is a large set which came out in 2023 and is still on sale now. Right off the bat, I will apologise for any dust you may see on this. I have tried my best to clean it, but this has been built for many months prior to this being filmed. I was meaning to review it earlier in the year, but got a bit busy, and well, now it's December. But better late than never, right? So let's just start with... why don't we start with the minifigures? There's three. Here are the three minifigures in the set. On the left and centre we have the two members of the fire service, and on the right we have the technician which has caused the small fire to start. But these two both have full breathing apparatus which can be removed to better see their faces. Also both have, actually no they don't, only the left one has air tanks, my mistake. I'll also take this headwear off the one on the right so you can better see the face. We have one alternate face over there on the now left for before the fire is started, or possibly after it's out, slightly less scared looking. This is a controller for a remote controlled small fire vehicle thingy-mabobber, which we'll look at in a second. And we have a circular saw here as well, and a spanner in a colour which isn't very common for the spanners. Usually they're in black, but that is a kind of metallic silver, which is nice to get. Also just quickly take off the tanks for the minifigure on the right so you can see the printing below it. And then you can see the print underneath is in the same logo as the one in the middle. So, three nice minifigures, and yeah. Let's have a look at some of the smaller things in the set. Actually, just a quick side note to the minifigures. Before we move on to the other stuff, I'd just like to draw some attention particularly to this piece of headgear, which I really like. I believe it is a new mould for 2023, and it's dual moulded with the two different colours there, and then the visor is a separate part added on. But it just looks really good, and it's a change over the headgear piece which has been used with fire personnel for years. This one here with the air tanks on the back, and this one is really nice, but it's nice to have a change. So this does look very good. Just thought I should mention that. Here are the two terrain pieces included in the set. On the right here we have a tree which can be, well, knocked down actually, and then this piece of fire which just sits there. As such, it can be knocked off from the projectiles from the fire truck, which we'll look at in a second. Inside here there is a, could be a rabbit. I think it's probably supposed to be a hare, but it's in there and needing rescued. So this is where the circular saw can be used to cut the trunk up to allow this to escape. And over on the left here, the other build, is this kind of street lamp which is supposed to start the fire, and when it is knocked over, there is fire attached to it, which can also be knocked off fairly easily as it's only held on by one stud. So that can also be knocked off. This is a nice looking little build. Sticker piece there. From the other side it doesn't look as good, but you know, still okay. It's a shame about the off-coloured Technic pins, but that's just kind of a part of life. The idea is really that this falls and knocks the tree over. Don't know if I can line it all up, but something kind of like, well, that I guess kind of works. Yes, you know, it's all very connected, but it works quite well. So let's have a look at the actual fire equipment now. Here are the three parts of the fire apparatus included in the set. We have this drone, this like remote controlled buggy thing, and then the large truck, which I think is based on either a Mercedes Unimog or maybe a Mercedes Zetros. I don't know how you say it, the 6x6 truck with the long nose on it. It looks really good, but we're going to come back to that in a second. We're actually going to talk about the small ones first. Here is the drone. It is a very basic little thing, but all four propellers do spin, and it has two of the tile shooters on the front, which are good when they work. They don't consistently work, and they can be incredibly hard to find the... See, this one really doesn't work. I don't think this is actually... I think this one is slightly not moulded right, but the other one works just fine. One is for water and one is for kind of foam. As you can see, it's a, I don't actually know what colour this is. It's kind of like a cloudy stud piece. But yes, that can be used for putting out the fires. We also have this small little remote controlled thing as an arm here, which can be moved in a wide range of motion, and this can be used to pick something up. It can technically pick the tree up, and also the lamp post thing, which falls over. So yeah, this is nice. Both of these two have a storage spot on the truck, which we'll see when we get to the truck, which, let's just bring it right back into shot and have a look at it. Here it is. It is large. It is a 6x6. Well, it's got 6 axles. Not 6 axles. 6 wheels. 3 axles. I would imagine all are driven, but that's a different story. It's a crew cab setup here. So you can see got opening doors for both the front and the back. Suicide doors at the back, which is quite cool. The roof is removable. The roof has on it here one of the large projectile shooters, which we'll have a look at in just a second, how it works. Let's have a look inside. Inside we have just a steering wheel in the front and a computer and a coffee mug in the back. It's kind of like command control in the back, you know. It's called the fire command truck, so you'd expect some command. It has a spot here for an axe on this side and nothing on the other side. That's where the circular saw could go. On the front we have a large winch set up here, which just can simply be unrolled. There is no winding piece, you just kind of have to push it up like that, which is not very easy, I will say. I do like the new cable system where it now uses a stud instead of having to tie a knot. As someone who struggles to tie knots, this is a big improvement. It can also be removed completely. It's just held on by 2 clips, so that doesn't have to always be on the truck. From the front, let's actually put the roof back on. Looks better with the roof back on. Keeps you dry. From the front you can see it's got some lights up here and some lights down here behind those kind of protective guards. All looks very good, I think. From the side here, I like this brick belt striping here using the 45-degree tile pieces. Does look really good. Should also mention the steps up are in a nice place. In here we have nothing. This is the storage spot for the small vehicle, which can just go in there. And there, it's accessible from both sides, and that's stored very well. On top here we have a ladder, which can be removed and folded out so that there's a ladder. That is also where the drone goes. It sits just in here. It has a spot that it sits in. There we go. And then the ladder can actually go back on top. How about that? Now moving around to the back. I'm actually going to take the ladder off as it gets slightly in the way. Here we have some storage containers. This one is filled with the water tiles for the drone's shooter, and this one's filled with the kind of foam tiles for the drone. And then here we have 2 sections here, which you can see by the stickers. This one has foam in it, and this one has water in it. And that is in the form of 2 of these large projectile pieces. One in blue for water, and one in this kind of misty, cloudy colour for the foam. These can be used in the shooter mounted on the roof, which we'll have a look at in just a second. But let's just fold that back up and look around the other side. You can see it's exactly the same. And yeah, that is pretty much all. It kind of looks like these side panels might open or something with the hinge pieces, but that's actually just how they're held on. So that is really all we've got here. So let's use this one. And so it just goes in here. You hear a click, and that's it. And then you click this button on the back, and it shoots out with an incredibly high amount of force. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it hurts, but you know, when it hits you, you feel it for sure. It's quite violent, but it works. If we bring in a piece of wildlife here and a piece of fire, and we kind of try and aim it, you can see it certainly knocks it off without much struggle. It's certainly a lot stronger than the shooters are on the drone. But yes, it looks really good. It's got some blue lights on the roof, and that's pretty much it. it's a fun build, this, actually, especially for city stuff. City stuff usually is quite simple to build and doesn't use that much interesting parts or building techniques or whatever. But this is good. Yeah. So that's the truck. So at the end of the day, this is Lego City Fire Set, which there is a lot of them produced. They have a theme of fire vehicles pretty much every year now, with many, many vehicles, and I have had many over the year, from the 2016, 16, 13, 19, all of those themes. I have had a fair few fire vehicles, but I think this might be one of my favourite. I looked at this set when it was first released and instantly thought that looked pretty cool, so I had to get it, and I'm glad I have. I really like this truck. That's not just because I think it really does look like a real-life Mercedes, but it just works really well. How well all this, relates to that knocking the tree over and everything is, that's what it is. But I do think it works really well for play value. The shooter obviously shoots the fire off without any struggle at all. I certainly wouldn't recommend it for kids under 7, just because, well, it's a bit violent, and I wouldn't want that hitting me in the eye. But I did forget to mention this, that the arm and the shooter, which are on the drone, and the little buggy can also be interchangeable with the winch, so you can completely change them all around, which is really nice. Adds just more play value, really. And I actually think this has display value as well. In fact, that's actually where it's been for the last 9-10 months since I built it in February. It's actually been on my shelf in my room, and I've really liked looking at it, and that's where it's going to go back to right now, because I do genuinely think it's a very nice looking set. So I highly recommend this, to anyone who, has a child who wants some Lego City Fire equipment, to anyone who wants some Lego City Fire equipment, or anyone who just wants a pretty cool looking large truck to display for the sake of it. So I really like this set. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.